Okay folks, welcome back. This is your old pal Hondo working on another reel. This is for spinning reels only pretty much. Now, basic tools you'll need for this is a wrench to take off a nut off of this frame here, and an adjustable screwdriver. You want to try to find the right size of small bit that you need, which is a Phillips head, and maybe a small finer looking flathead screwdriver, and maybe a pair of needle nose pliers if you need them. Okay, first thing you want to do is what we're going to do here, which you should always clean on your spinning reels on the bail, is this little spot right here where the line goes into. There's a ball bearing in here, so we're going to need this. We're going to need this right here, the screwdriver, to unscrew this. So sometimes you get a lot of dirt in this part of the reel right here. So you want to take this screw out first, and there should be a ball bearing in here. This is the only part you really need to oil on this bail. Now, if you're using it in salt water, then you'll have to do a further cleaning. But other than that, there's a little ball bearing right in here, as you can see on the inside, that needs to be oiled. And then you can oil the top piece right here as well. What you want to do is you're going to grab your oil right here, grab your oil, and you're going to drip a little bit of oil in this spot right here, which is the ball bearing. One drop will do, and another drop of oil on the other side of the reel. And that's pretty much all you need. You just want to oil it, and you just stick the screw back inside of there like so. Screw that in. Of course, you will drop stuff here, so keep that in mind. Once you oil that, that should help the bail, because this one here has a little automatic line puller. It moves with the line, so if you oil that, that'll work really well. Now you have to oil this here spring down in here too. You want to put a little bit of oil on that, like so. Put a little bit of oil on the inside of that and on the inside of that, and come over here on the other side. You need to oil right here as well, and oil that, and then oil the inside of the bail right here. Basically, you just oil it. Once you oil it, it helps lubricate those joints, makes it a lot easier for you to use. And it's pretty much all the oiling you need to do for this for the bail. Now we're going to take it apart. Now what you need to do is take, well, this one had a little cap right here that helps take off the handle. I don't have that anymore, so I gotta use a pair of pliers and hope to God that I can get it off. Screw out finally, and you can take the handle out. Now what you want to do is you want to take off this drag knob right here first. After you take the handle off, you take the drag knob off, and basically pull that off. Pull off the bail, and then right here is a little gear piece right here. You have to take it off with a little plastic washer underneath it. Don't forget there's a little plastic washer underneath there. And put it off to the side somewhere. Now this is where the wrench will come in handy. You take off this piece right here. Just work it slow. It'll come off. Righty tighty, lefty loosey kind of thing. You know what I mean? And take this off. Should come right off. Sometimes it doesn't want to really come off easy, so you're going to have to, right here's a little nut, and just keep working it off until it comes off, until you can loosen it up by hand. Right here, just loosen it up by hand and then pull it off. It should take that off, and you want to take, there's a screw here that you got to take off, and you got to change the screwdriver here to get it off, and unscrew it. Some of these don't have that screw, so just take off the screw, And what I like to do is I like to put the screws somewhere where, you know, where all this goes, and and you take off the body of the reel right here. Once you take the body of the reel off, I'll put this over here and all in one spot, so that way you know where all those bolts go and stuff and screws. Because once you do that, now you can take off the base plate. Now right here, it's a little dirty. It might need a little bit of oil up and right through here. Put a little bit of oil right there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to put some oil on the shaft here and down in there, so that way it gets a little bit of oil. It's really a well-made reel. It's a ball bearing down in there that you might want to put a little bit of oil on. That's basically all you need, a couple drops. So now we're going to take the plate off. So once you remove that, you can take the base plate off of the reel. We're going to take a small screwdriver and take that off. That way I know that's the back screw right there. Now, let's see if we can get the base plate off. We're going to need a small flathead screwdriver for this. All I like to do is I like to jimmy the frame up with a screwdriver in between the crack of the frame, and it should come off. If it doesn't come off, there's always one more screw. But this one did come off, so just be very careful when you pull it off. Now, right here, as you can see in the center of the gears, now you don't want to take it all the way apart. You just want to take this little gear off right here. If it'll come loose, you may have to push it out on the other side here to get it out. Okay, you take that gear out. That's really the only gear you need to take out. What I want you to take out, now what I want you to do is you want to get a nice little tub like this, and you take the gear, and there's a lot of old caked in grease right there. What you want to do is you want to take the whole body of the reel. You don't want to take none of this out. You just leave that alone. You just want to leave that alone, and what you want to do is you put it in the little bath thing here. Get yourself a toothbrush, and then what you do is you take WD-40. WD-40 is a degreaser, not a greaser. So what you do is you take the WD-40 with the long skinny straw strand and spray all the gears down on the inside, and this will degrease all these gears. And what you do after that is you use a toothbrush, and you get in there and work this grease out of these gears here, like so. You just use a toothbrush, work the gears out. This will help degrease all the old crusty grease out of the gears. Turn this little gear knob if you can to get to the other side right here, to spray it like that. So you don't have to take this whole thing apart. You just gotta basically take that one gear out. That helps get all this degreased. Once you spray it one time, you have to spray it again afterwards to get all that excess loose grease out of there. It's called giving it a WD-40 bath. You know, spray it again. Just spray the whole gears out. Get the old crusty stuff out of there. And that should be good enough. For this one, as you can see, it cleaned all that crap out of it. I mean, there's no more crust. And just let it sit upside down. Now we already done sprayed this gear. We're going to have to use a toothbrush on it to get all the old crusty grease out. This will help right here, just to, you know, basically get rid of all the grease on the inside. Old grease does coagulate and make the reel tighten up, and it'll make the reel seize up. So what you want to do with that is just, you know, use your toothbrush, spray it over and over and over again, spray the gear down. WD-40 is a degreaser, not a greaser, you know what I'm saying? And then use your toothbrush again to basically get that crap out of there. Toothbrush is your best friend when it comes to these fishing reels for cleaning them. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now what you want to do after this, they're clean, the gears are clean. You want to take a paper towel and just gently wipe the excess grease or whatever's left behind off of there. And this thing will be like brand new gears, you know. It'll clean all the crap off of the gears, just the excess WD-40, which is a known degreaser. It's not a grease. So it's for cleaning metal parts only. It's what it's good for this. This right here I think is sat long enough. You just, you know, dab it in there. You don't need to push it in there too far. Because right here we clean the bearing. There's a bearing right there on the other side of the reel, which will need to be oiled after this. And we got some of the grease out. We didn't get all the grease out of it, but, you know, we got most of it, the old grease. Okay, now we're going to reassemble this reel. Now what we're going to do, we're going to open up you can use pretty much any kind of grease you want, but we're going to use Vaseline for this one because I think it's a little bit finer of a reel. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Vaseline and we're going to take our fine finesse screwdriver right here and we're going to get a glob of Vaseline and put it on the main gear right here. And what you do is you work it in there by moving it around like so until you get it all up in there, you know what I mean? Really, a dab of this stuff will do. You know, if this is freshwater fishing, you only need to clean this thing every 5 years. If you're using it in salt water, you have to clean it every year. Now, you want to put a little dab of grease in here as well, on the inside and around the, right here is a little metal ball bearing. You want to put new grease on that as well. And that's all you need to do. And then we're going to re-grease this gear here and pretty much get a little bit of grease on that as well. On the top gear too, you want to get it on that top gear as well. This stuff really works really good. Vaseline's like one of the best. You don't want to use Q-tips for this job because Q-tips will fall apart while you're doing this and leave little hairs going everywhere, and you don't want those hairs getting clogged in there with the grease, making this thing not work really well. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on that. Okay, we're going to reassemble this part right here, which goes down right in here inside the reel. You got to jimmy it in there. It's not going to be easy to get it in there. It went right in, well, you know. And you might want to turn it to see if it turns right. And if it turns right, you're good to go. What you want to do now is put this little Teflon cap back in here on top of that where it went. It goes in there somewhere. Where the fuck I put that? It goes in here somewhere like that. And it's just basically to hold the reel in place if it don't fall out while we're trying to reassemble it. Okay, now we're going to reassemble the back plate, the base plate right here, and that's basically all you need to do right there. We're going to put the 2 screws back in right on the top here, and put the one down here as well, and we'll put all the screws back in this baby, and this thing should run like a dream after we get done doing this. We're going to find the other back plate screw for this, which is right here. Let's stick that screw back in there as well. Okay, that's done. The whole body housing is put back together. You might want to put a little bit of oil in on some of these other parts as well, like little drag spots, little springs. You know, you just want to give it a generous little coat of oil, like a little drop here or there, you know, before you put it all up. And we're ready to reassemble the frame back onto the reel, which goes back on it like this. I'm going to find where it goes on, and it should go right on there. There you go. It went back on, and we're going to put we're going to tighten this bolt back on here as well with the wrench. Tighten it up by hand first, and then hold the frame like that, and then use your wrench to tighten it all the way further. Don't need to be too super tight, just tight enough. And right here in the bail system, if this is really rusty, you're going to have to pull this out and use steel wool to clean it out. If it's not that bad, in the center of the Teflon drag system, you don't have to worry about that. But what you do want to do is put a little bit of oil, just a drop of oil in there, if you haven't done it in a long time. And just basically that's all the maintenance you need to do for that. We're going to stick the little star drag back in there, and the little plastic piece goes right on top first, and you know, right on top of there, and this little metal piece goes right on top of. I forgot to put the screw back in there. Okay, we got it back in there. We're gonna screw it in now for fudge sakes. Okay. Okay, we had one hiccup there. Other than that, that's all she wrote. And put the bail back on, the spool back on, and tighten up this here stupid knob again that we messed up for the second time in a row. But that's part of doing a fishing reel video, maintenance reel video. Make sure your bail's working properly, and it should be. It's working really good right now. I'm liking it. You want to make sure there's nothing wrong with that. Now, just to test it, we're going to test it out. We're not going to put the handle back on because I don't have a back plate screw in anymore. It doesn't work like that. But there you go. Look at that. The drag works perfectly. You can hear it moving. And that reel is moving smooth like a brand new reel. There you go, folks. That's how you maintenance a spinning reel. It's really simple. That's why I recommend you, if you're going to buy 2 reels to use for fishing in freshwater conditions, spin cast and spinning reels are the 2 easiest reels to work on. Bait casters are a nightmare to use, so you know, stick to something that's easy. Spinning reels and basic maintenance on spinning reels and spin cast reels are a lot easier than bait casters. We'll work on any type of spinning reel, so that are being manufactured. It might be a little bit different than another, but this is just basic how to do this with a spinning reel. If you like the video, please give it a like and a subscribe and share. Take it easy, folks. It's been your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Tactical. Peace.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake.